All right, well, we got the late afternoon slot in the first day. Hopefully you guys are ready for some fun tonight. I'm going to talk a little bit about wax and op skins. I sell skins. Now, a lot of you who are not gamers may not know what that is, and many of you who are gamers may not know unless you are a PC gamer. But a skin is your identity. It's what you're born with. It's what you come into this world, and you sort of connect it to who you are, your identity, what you look like. Now, there's lots of different skins out there, especially if you're from West Hollywood, Venice Beach area, or maybe in Chelsea. You've seen a lot of skins like this. Or, you know, you are at a wedding, or you get done up for a party. You see all kinds of different skins. This is the look and identity that you're used to. When you see, even in Snapchat, we have lots of different skins. And the ability to change your skin digitally has become part of life. Snapchat is the largest AR company in the world and has really brought this to the mainstream. However, inside a video game, your skin is just as important. If you spend a lot of time playing, how you look inside that game is as important as anything else. And so here is an avatar. So this is inside a game called Battlegrounds, PUBG for short. And this is how you kind of start out, looking, you know, pretty plain, but you could have something really cool. Well, that thing that I've added that's really cool costs money. Here's another item. I'm gonna shoot something with my sort of gunmetal, standard-looking rifle, put a skin on it. Now it's pretty cool looking, okay? Now these are really interesting because they trade back and forth between people, hundreds of millions of gamers, and they spend a lot on these items. And, you know, they like to brag about them, and we trade them. We trade a lot of them. So they're about social status. If you think about, you know, anything that you have that is beautiful, you get a certain feeling from it because it's also collectible, it's unique, and it has value. Here's another skin. Now, you can purchase these for $37,000. I think that's 2 point something Bitcoin. I don't know what the price is at the moment, but this slide keeps changing depending on the hour of the day. So you say, well, who would pay $37,000 for basically changing the look of a rifle? It doesn't affect the gameplay, and I'll show you.
Mama bless.
Is this Hefe?
Ah! No way! No way! No way! Let's go for it! Souvenir! Dragon lore! A box! Ah! Ah!
So I've never been that excited getting a Bitcoin, but he's that excited getting a skin. So these are the kinds of players we're dealing with. Very enthusiastic. We do 2 million purchases a week, about 200,000 new registrations a month. We do, you know, 150 million plus, close to 200 million transactions a year, and we're founded in 2015. So that's our core business, trading these items back and forth. It's a very, very interesting business. But that ecosystem where people are buying and selling is rife with some problems. There's theft, so this is like crypto. Somebody hacks into your account, they steal your stuff, there's no safety blanket. Cost, microtransactions back and forth, very expensive. So if you have a $10 item or a $5 item and you have, you're in India and you're trading with somebody in Canada, by the time you exchange the currency, by the time you do cross-border transactions, you've lost most of the value. So microtransactions are very expensive to do. And fraud, okay, so people obviously can use a stolen credit card or a chargeback. So we spend a lot of money to facilitate this ecosystem to make sure that people don't experience this friction. But we spent a lot of time and money to do that. So if you look at the marketplace, it started way back in the 90s, which is ancient history. Some of you may not have really been in business back then. But Ultima Online, World of Warcraft were places where people had items and they traded. Those items, of course, had function. Back in those days, people could change their level in the game by what they bought. Today, the things we're trading on OpSkins from 2015 and today on Wax are items that are purely cosmetic. They're skins. They don't change the function of the gameplay. Turns out that market is growing way faster. It's a $50 billion market, and it's only a few years old. Why? Because there's an infinite amount of social status that you can acquire inside of a game, and each skin is unique. When it comes to functional items, you only need so many functional items. Think about that in your life. Like, you can only have so many cars if all you're doing is driving them. But if you're collecting them because of status, you could have quite a number of them. So what we're doing in terms of this marketplace is we focus on the value that gets created by building a marketplace. We're the largest marketplace in the world, Opskins, and what we said was we want to give the power of the marketplace to everyone. So think of it like peer-to-peer. If you started out and you were just trading items at a flea market, your business can only get so big. But when you get on eBay, you get on Amazon, and you can sell to the world, you can become a power seller and make millions of dollars. That's the kind of power we're taking from Opskins and putting it into a smart contract so that everyone in the world who wants to buy and sell can have that ability to trade peer-to-peer. So we're giving them liquidity, we're giving them banking and payment options, we're giving them obviously security, lots of languages, and all that visual merchandising that goes with selling those skins. So if you look at the size of the gamer market versus the crypto market, it's way bigger. And if you ask yourself, how does crypto go mainstream? Well, it's when somebody is doing something that is hard for them to do without crypto. And there's a lot of them. So gamers are going to be buying more and more skins. They're already doing it at scale. But they're going to be able to do it more cheaply. It's going to be faster. And they're going to get to do it peer-to-peer the way they really want to do it. And by giving them a solution that's crypto-based, we then take those 400 million plus gamers, and now they start using crypto without even realizing that that's what's happening. But that's what's enabling it, the blockchain behind it. So we're delivering a brand new blockchain that is customized for the solutions we need. That's escrow, payments, micropayments. They have to be obviously very fast. We know there are problems with the blockchain in Bitcoin and Ethereum. They can't provide solutions at the scale we need. So that's why we decided to build a custom blockchain. But liquidity is really important here because marketplaces, especially consumer to consumer, only work well when liquidity is present. Without it, there's not enough buyers, not enough sellers. So you can see this purpose-built platform allows us to control also the transaction fees. If you look at what happened, Bitcoin transaction fees gone up over 1,200%, in the past 2 years. That's just not sustainable when you're doing millions of transactions back and forth with items that are, potentially not that expensive. And of course, what we've done is we've designed an ecosystem where the more that items get traded, the more that the escrow agents, the transfer agents, have to stake. So as they stake more tokens, liquidity gets taken out of the system, so that means you create more scarcity. Of course, there's a fixed number of tokens in the whole ecosystem, but the more people trade it, the less tokens are available, and actually any asset class can be supported by you creating a guild. So if you buy some tokens, you stake them, you can say, you know what, we can trade game A, we can trade game B, we can trade game C, but you know what? You could also trade other non-fungible items. You could trade any collectible on a platform like this. All you need to do is be able to tokenize it. And as we talk to lots of folks out there who are tokenizing assets, we're seeing that there's just a ton of opportunity. And the reason why worldwide asset exchange is not called the gaming exchange is because asset exchange could be any kind of tokenized asset that's non-fungible. So again, there's no mining in this platform. We've designed it to be extendable to any kind of asset, and we really want folks to show up with their asset. In fact, after my presentation is BlockV, they're another platform. They're creating these really unique assets. That's another example of an asset class that could trade on Wax instantaneously. But there will be a lot that we'll be talking about and announcing hopefully later this year. The four of us on the founding team have a lot of experience in doing this. William, our CEO, extraordinary, 400 consumer launches, and one of the co-founders of Tether, and one of the biggest investors in the Ethereum pre-ICO, and interestingly enough, in the first ICO. He brought me into that deal, and we never looked back. Jonathan Yantis on our team, extraordinary, the actually inventor of item trading, and John Brachisi, extraordinary. He's the CTO of Opskins as well. interesting story, self-taught programmer who was lifelong passion of CSGO and built this with some friends who realized there was a big need for it and turned Opskins into the massive company that it is today. Our advisor's been really great folks. Dave Anthony, one of the creators of Call of Duty, has been extraordinary to work with. Brian Fargo, you may have heard of some of his project, Robot Cash. They did an announcement earlier this week. Another interesting asset class, potentially, you'll see that on Wax this year. And also very interesting, they're trading items from used games, which is a really interesting market. We have Ken from Vivendi, and they were the operators and owners of World of Warcraft, and some other folks you know from the blockchain space. And then we've had lots of partners participate in our platform. So I think ultimately the takeaway is that asset trading is the entry point for the general market to be able to adopt crypto. With that, I think that we'll see not only crypto widespread because of the use case that's natural, but then also we'll see that a custom blockchain can really deliver solutions we couldn't have imagined. About a year ago, when this idea, or maybe even a year and a half ago when this idea was present, there were a couple problems. One, we didn't see a market where the blockchain solutions were sufficient to be able to support the capacity, the speed that we want, and the low cost. But I think in the past 12 months, we've seen numerous projects showing how delegated proof of stake and how really high speed, side chains and distributed ledgers could support at least the needs that we have. And so that really kicked off our desire to jump in and make this happen. So that's really all I have today. Thanks a lot for all your time. We'll see you around, and I'm available for questions afterwards. Thanks.